what's the role of the geographical landmass that we know as India? And I'm asking you this because I've been studying a lot about deities that are not prayed to anymore, deities that existed in different cultures, like Zeus in Greek culture, um, Gilgamesh in Mesopotamian. There are African deities. There are lots of South American deities. There are Egyptian deities like Ra, Anubis, etc. I feel all of these had their own version of ritualistic prayer. You could pray to them. And the world has gone through a very long phase of undocumented history, in my opinion,
Okay.
because of constant cataclysms, meteors hitting the earth, just the nature of time eroding all these places. This is what the work of Graham Hancock is related to.
Okay.
There is a show on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse.
Okay.
If you're not willing to listen to all of Graham Hancock's episodes with Joe Rogan, go watch Ancient Apocalypse. But my point is that deities have existed all over the globe and in many different geographical regions. Deity worship has stopped. I believe it's only practiced in our land, in some pockets of Asia like Mongolia,
China.
China, Japan, um, and I'm pretty sure it's practiced by tribal populations all over the world.
Right.
What do you think of this international deity worship? What do you think of our geographical land that we know as India? Because I feel on some level, every single global listener of this podcast has an ancestor who followed deity worship, which is why anyone who stuck around in this conversation until this point feels a sense of curiosity related to deity worship. There must be some role that India is playing. What's your opinion?
So there are two questions, if I gathered it correctly. One is the importance of the landmass we call India, and about deity worship. So deity worship has always been there. Of course, there are changes that have happened. There are political changes that have happened, religious changes that have happened. While some deities have gone back into the fold. So the question is, if your question is that what happens to those deities, they just retreat back into whichever fold, and depending on the nature of the deity, there's nothing more to it. So deity is a true deity, the one we call deities, and I'm talking from the Hindu perspective. I'm not at all a globalist in terms of let's worship all deities. I will worship what I know. Others I respectfully bow from a distance. A deity that we understand in Dharma, in Hinduism, is eternal. Eternal means tomorrow, if all human beings were to vanish from earth, Shiva is still going to exist. It will not make the slightest difference to him. It's not going to make the slightest difference to Durga. It's not going to make the slightest difference to what we call Vasudeva Krishna. Okay. Somebody who is that ancient, that vast, for a culture stopping his or her worship for a period of 1000 years is a blink of an eye. They can re-enter anytime. So my point is that they have the power to change the consciousness of masses. That is what a deity is. Truly a great god, not the smaller things. Because between a great god, deity, and a human being, there are many other beings also, by the way. And our dharma recognizes all those, that there are existence of other things also. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the greatest ones. So deity upasana, I believe, is anyway organically again going to come up. It's just a matter of time. It's there. It's not that it has vanished. It has like taken a step back in certain places. India, on the other hand, it is the land of the rishis, and the blessings of the rishis, that deity upasana not only exists, in spite of various colonization attempts that we have had, and religious colonization attempts actually. In spite of that, the Hindu dharma and the Sanatana dharma of multiplicity of deity upasana thrives well, and it is only increasing, and it is never ever going to go out from here, because we have the blessings of the greatest of spiritual beings. There's something about the Indian landmass that makes spirituality long sustaining. Maximum stages of spirituality manifest most easily. There has never been a time in the history of Dharma, even when India was under the occupation of foreign powers, when great saintly figures, saints who are worshippers of deities. So there was Ramakrishna, who was born during the British occupation of India, and he sets up the Kali temple, and his disciple is Swami Vivekananda, who inspires generations of freedom fighters. India has always progressed because of the saints who come, and the saints are connected to the deity upasanas. One individual who follows deity upasana and reaches a higher state acquires great Shakti of the deity. automatically everybody else will follow. I just mentioned some time ago that the first principle of world, of the universe, is that somebody with lower Shakti, things with lower Shakti will organically gravitate towards things with higher Shakti. A man with exceptional Shakti will organically pull people towards that deity. And it has always happened in India, it has always happened in India. It is never ever going to change. There is something very holy about this landmass, Indian landmass.